Hi, guys, and welcome back. Today, we are going to do an episode where we took all of these questions that you guys asked and we're just going to answer them. So, in the beginning, there might be some more serious ones. In the end, maybe a little bit more lighthearted. We're just going to see where it goes and how many we can get to. So, one of the first ones was, how do you help your kids develop a tolerance for discomfort when they're learning new things?
I think the biggest thing that comes up for me is, as a parent, the patience it needs to be key. Because as somebody who doesn't have a lot of patience with the learning phase of it for myself, always have been that way. When I was little, it was that way. Even right now, if I make a mistake, I'm really hard on myself. And then I don't want to pass that on to my kids. I know how terrible it feels. So I think about that quite a bit of, okay, they are learning. It's going to take longer. Some things, if we are in a rush, I'm going to be honest here, be like, you know what, we're going to work on this one a little bit later, but then make actual time for it and know that the next time we can't just keep on saying that in the morning, especially with right now, I'm thinking about just teaching Owen how to put clothes on. It'd be so much easier, obviously, to just put his clothes on every single time. Same thing with using a spoon. With the bigger kids, things like math and reading, it's so much easier to step in and just say, this is the word, but you do have to take a time a little bit.
Really love the things they're good at.
Yes. And yes, my mom will always say she was good at everything she did. Yeah. And I'm like, because I didn't do the things that I wasn't good at.
Learning, I think for me, it's just truly when you go, and let's talk about sports, you're not always going to be the best one on the team, but your effort really matters. So even if you're not the best, you still have to show up and try. And that might be sticking with the sport where you're not the star. You have to learn that, that's not always the role that you're going to be able to play, but there is a role for you. So I think you teach them, like, we show up with a good attitude. We shake hands when we lose. Sports are a really good metaphor for life. And that's one reason we really like them. It's just a constant lesson in showing up, even when you're not the best, even when you lose by a lot, like you just have to keep showing up.
The next one that came in was from a woman who had an adult family member who would ignore her kids' birthday party invitations. So she had said that she didn't wish her kids happy birthday. She didn't respond to birthday invitations. And this follower, she made it a point that she really does go above and beyond with making sure to always respond, making sure to always reach out, wish the happy birthday, send the text message. So she was really feeling very, very down about the whole situation. So what would you do in this situation, Amy?
I mean, she would not want to be in my family.
Okay.
Let's just put it this way. Not great responders to invitations. However, I've really learned to not take it personally. I feel like you just have to separate. And I've said this before. I really think we get in a lot of trouble when we think, I would never do that to her, because we're making things mean even more than they probably do mean. Like we said, the person that wrote in, that's a true value for her. She never wants to miss a birthday invitation. She never wants to miss a birthday party. She wants to prioritize her friend and family members' kids' birthdays. And that's her value. Not everyone is like that. They might be thinking, okay, I'm friends with her and I love her and I'm going to show up for her, but that doesn't necessarily extend to the kids. Everyone is different in this department. And then I think where we also get stuck is when we don't tell the person that's bothering us.
Yeah.
So if Abby was doing that and I didn't like it, I would say, Abby, it really bothers me that you never respond to their birthday invitations. Like, even if you guys aren't coming, it would just be so nice if you let us know so we could plan. And honestly, maybe wish them a happy birthday. And then you give that person the opportunity to know that it is bothering you. I just think that sets you up for better success, rather than, it sounds like we might be getting into a pattern where you're kind of waiting for them to repeat their pattern.
Getting
and
resentful.
You're getting really mad, which I think is really tough.
This question came at interesting timing because one of my friends is that other family member, and she was feeling really bad. The one that doesn't respond. And I hadn't told her about this question at all, but she goes, "Oh my gosh, I forgot my niece's birthday again. I feel terrible." And I said, "Okay, like what's going on?" She goes, "I feel terrible because I know how much it means to my sister."
Yeah.
And so talking to the other person, she did feel really bad, but she goes, "Abby, it doesn't even come into my mind. I don't even think about it. It's not on my calendar. I don't think about it on a daily basis. I don't expect her to do it for me." So again, like you said, Amy, with the values.
On the flip side, though, hearing that, it's like, okay, if you know that really bothers your sister,
put it in the calendar, maybe.
Told you, then put it in the calendar, because then you can't forget.
I think that'd be a good thing going forward if you've told this person, if you've told your family member that, hey, this is important going forward, maybe that could be a next skill for that person.
Yeah. I just think give them the opportunity to know that it's bothering
Yeah.
you before you just write them off as a bad person. Cause I don't think, for me personally, say my high school group of friends, I always use them as an example. They're truly like some of my favorite people in this entire world. They're such cool women. They would never get mad at me for not saying happy birthday to one of their kids because we just don't do that. We just don't do that for each other. But I was just at one of their kids' birthday parties. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's like we just have that type of relationship where that's not a priority for us, but for other people, it is a priority. And
Mhm.
I'm respecting that.
Yeah.
You just got to let them know. And if they still don't care, then I guess you have to decide.
Right. Are you going to continue to get mad, or is it something you're going to let go?
Okay, the next one. Oh, this one is really, really tough. She says, my sister is in a toxic relationship and I want off the roller coaster of her life. Being 38, I have seen this play out many times, whether I've personally experienced it or with other people, or I had a friend going through this. Here's what I'll say it gets really, really sticky because I think what happens is if you want off the roller coaster to her, that is probably going to feel like you don't support her. Like she might take that personally, and there might be a wedge between you guys. But I understand needing to set a boundary. I've done it before in the past too, where you're like, okay, I am not, let's just say, going on vacation with this couple. Like I don't like the way that they act towards each other. It's very toxic. I'm not supporting it. I'm not going on vacation with them. Whatever your boundaries are, I think makes sense. I'm not trying to scare anyone like you're going to lose your sister if you do it. I'm just saying I do think it's really hard for them when they're in the situation to not take it out on other people. I think that's actually the thing that happens most commonly. Someone's in a toxic relationship, they need a release valve. Usually it's the people closest to them that really do suffer and they can't even see it.
Yeah, it is. It is so hard, and it's vacations, it's going out to quick dinners, it's text messages too, saying, "Oh, I can't believe that that my whoever did this," and I think that can get really, really hard when you're at
Yeah.
the other end of it too. But I do think, just like in the last question, you do have to be open about it because this person might not even know that
Yeah.
you are feeling the
I
heaviness of
feel
it.
like that could sound like, Abby, I have to tell you, it's really hard for me to hear all of these negative things about your relationship and your partner. It's to the point where I'm not sure if this relationship is working for you, but if you want to stay in it, I can no longer be your sounding board.
Yeah,
I'm just telling you, it's tough because
yeah,
a lot of times when our friends or family members are in that type of relationship, we only want the best for them. Like we truly want them to like see what everyone else sees and get out of it. But we know that sometimes that it doesn't always work out that way.
Well, and there's a difference between letting someone vent and being a listening ear and offering support. And then all of a sudden, or being like, this is really weighing on me.
Yeah.
This is really heavy. It's the point where, I mean, I had this at my last job where there was somebody who constantly complained over and over and over again. And I would get this like feeling in my bones when they would walk over to my desk because I already knew it was going to be complaining and negativity. And I didn't want to put myself into that. What I ended up doing was I said I was giving up complaining for Lent. And I made that very, very clear with my coworkers. And for 6 weeks, nobody came over and complained to me. And after that, it was a little bit different. We didn't have as close a relationship. I will say we weren't as close. We didn't talk about everything as much, but I also didn't have the heaviness of the venting over and over again.
One time I had one of my really close friends got out of a relationship like this and she said, "Why didn't you guys tell me?" And we said, "No, hold on a second. We
Oh,
did say a couple things and you just weren't ready to hear them." Like, I'm so glad that you are out of it and I'm so glad that you see everything now, but you have to understand from our perspective, we did say a couple things and then also you weren't ready to hear it. Like you weren't.
yeah.
And I'm so great friends with that woman, so it's like it's not like it's always gonna be like sometimes that friendship or that sisterhood really does recover.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's really tough, and I feel really bad for anyone that's going through that. Okay, the next one. When do I let go of a long-term friendship? I've had this experience in my life. And I think oftentimes we know that things aren't working anymore before we take action, which I think is actually a good thing. Like, if you really love and care for someone, you don't want to just be flippant about a decision like
Mhm.
that. For me, I think it's when you can tell the relationship has gotten to a place where it's more hard than it is good. I mean, I honestly think it's kind of like being in a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
Like, is the relationship bringing more good to your life or is it bringing more stress? I've also dealt with a lot of people that just haven't been like genuinely happy for me and excited for me when good things happen. And that is probably my greatest female friendship lesson learned is when you can genuinely tell that people are not happy for you, they don't want the best for you. That's a relationship where I'm like, I'm gonna exit because I know it can be so much better.
Yeah, that is hard. And also it's also difficult because we know that in this season of life, friendships can be hard for a lot of our listeners.
Yeah.
They can be hard to keep up. They can be hard to start. So letting go of a friendship that has been around for a long time or that felt really deep at a point can be a really tricky situation. But you had said the hard thing. I think just to add on to that, sometimes friendships that maybe you're not in the same location anymore. And
Oh,
it's just,
yeah.
it's so difficult to get together that you're almost, having to rearrange your entire schedule or drop a bunch of things in order for it to work. Can the friendship look different too, is what I would
That's
ask.
exactly what I was gonna say. I have friends that live states away, and the friendship did go through times where we were just in different places in our lives. And it definitely took a back burner. I didn't say like I'm done with this friendship, you know what I
Right,
mean? I just
right.
said, okay, this is on the back burner. Like I can't put as much energy into it. She's not putting as much energy into it, and that's just okay.
Mhm.
And then honestly, there's been times where it's been like back to the forefront. I'm so happy. So yeah, I think there's a difference between is this going to the back burner and we're both okay with it? And like we both are going through things where we just don't have as much time or maybe we're really far apart. Is this going to a back burner versus is there actual things that are going on inside this friendship that feel really unhealthy?
Yeah,
And like, I
that's
don't want to be in this friendship anymore. I think there's a real difference between those two things.
mhm. Ooh, how do I create new friendships in adulthood that are not just mom friends? I think what she meant by this was friends of their kids, like the moms of their
Mhm.
kids' friends. I mean, Amy and I are really open about this. Like, we will step out and give that phone number, do the invite. Sometimes it does take being brave for a second and doing something that might feel a little bit not like you in order to make some of these friendships. I'll also say that other women are also hoping for the same thing.
I
They're also
honestly
hoping for the
think
same thing.
it's not as hard as we sometimes make it. It's like join a book club. Like, do you love books? Join a book club. My
Ones that
friend
are,
Maria, she goes to this book club. They're like lifelong friends
hmm
now. Like
hmm
they're absolutely obsessed. Do you like rock climbing? Go to the rock climbing gym. Like whatever you like. Because I think what the heart of this question is I want a connection that's not just based on the fact that we have two little humans that are the
right.
same size. Like I want to actually feel connected with this friend. It's interesting because I've made such good friends through my kids. So I would say don't write that woman off as she's just my kid's friend's mom. Like I've shared this story before, like with one of my closest friends now, it took several times of getting our families together before I felt like we really started to connect. Our husbands had an instant connection.
Okay.
And I think we are both just more slow burners. Like we don't fall into friendships. Like Abby's a faster friend than
Mhm.
I am. I'm like really slow, cautious. I don't know. That's how I feel. I want like a deep connection. I don't want like a bunch of just like acquaintances. There's not a right or a wrong. That's just who I am. I've always been like that. And we got there. So I'm like, just do something that you love to do. You have to get out of your house to make a
You
friend.
do.
You cannot
Yes,
be
you
watching
do.
Love Island from start to finish. You've got to leave the house to make a friend. Do something that you love. There's baking classes in town. There's
I mean,
cooking
like
classes.
literally, yes.
There's the
Craft type of
library. There's
stuff.
free
Hmm
stuff. Like you just have to get yourself out there a little bit. And then obviously you do have to start talking. Like you
You do.
have to start talking to the person next to you.
I'm going to tell a fun story. So I go walking with my dog every morning, and there's these two women who at 6 in the morning, they are in their pajamas with coffees and they walk the neighborhood all the time. And I see them every day. It'd be awkward at this point if I didn't say something, and I'm very awkward. So of course I'm going to. And one time I was waving at them out the window and they have no idea who I am when I'm in my minivan. And they're looking at me like, do I know you? Finally, I got out. They said, oh, you're the woman with the dog. And I finally went over there and just introduced myself. Not that these two are going to be close friends of mine, but we have a similar interest at a similar time. And they're out there walking. So I just keep on thinking in my mind, I'm like, there are so many opportunities if you are somebody who wants a friendship to just, again, just step out of your comfort zone a little tiny bit and do it.
Just normalizing the fact that sometimes you will start trying to talk to someone and they're not really feeling it.
That happens to me a lot too.
The other night at baseball, I'm like telling a few jokes, trying to make a connection. I'm like, ooh, rough crowd.
They're not as into it as I am. Okay, note taken.
Okay. Honestly, don't walk away feeling like those jokes were funny. I honestly think they were funny.
The best thing is you can use those jokes again.
Yeah. You're always testing material. So it's okay. Don't take it as like, I'm so bad at this. I'm so awkward. Da, 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 da. The next person you talk to, it's going to land better. It's a very common human occurrence. One listener wrote in and she said, parenting a kiddo with developmental delays, I feel like I'm already failing as a mom.
Oh, my heart goes out to this person because I don't have a lot of advice, but I do have solidarity. And I can say that as a mom who has a kiddo with developmental delays, you can feel like you're on fire some days when they're doing really well. And you can feel like you are not being a good parent on some days. But the worth of you is not based on how your child is hitting those milestones. It's not based on your child's progress. Like, you are a good mom just because you're a mom. Like, you're a good mom, period. And I do think it's hard though, because I think that so often we can say, but I'm this kiddo's parent. I should be doing more. I should be able to help him more. I should be able to see more progress, take him to more things. Or if you're not seeing the progress, instantly it's like, okay, do we need to be doing more? Should we hire more? Should we do more things? And I've fallen into that boat so many times, and it leaves you burned out. It leaves you not feeling good about yourself. You lack confidence. And that shows not just with this situation, but it shows in all of parenting. Because when you aren't showing up for one kiddo, it's really hard to also feel confident and on top of the world and vibrant in other parts of parenting too. So I just want to give you a really big hug and say that you're an amazing mom, regardless of your kiddo's progress. There's always things that we can be doing more of, but at the same time, our kiddos love us just for being us. And you're doing so much already.
I think a really good follow for this is Wellness for the Win. We've had her on before, I think. We're both friends with her. She's just so honest about this part of it, because I think it truly is moms that have kids with developmental delays or disabilities. They're so hard on themselves when everyone else that is watching is like, you're literally doing so much. It's just that constant idea that we could be doing more that gets us in trouble in any part of our life.
Yes.
Like, we, especially millennial women, we really have to take it down a couple notches. Most of us are just, we're hard on ourselves. We're go-getters. We get it done. It's how we were raised. And we've just got to scale back to say, you know what? This is good enough. Like, we've got him in his programs. I'm taking him. This is good enough. Okay, now we are going to transition into some more fun questions that came in. I'm like looking around for my phone. It's actually up there because I saw the first one is, what are you currently reading? I'm the type of person where I have something on my Kindle and I don't know the name of the book.
Okay.
It's Carly. Is it
Fortune?
We don't know how to say
Yep.
it.
That lady. Wonderful.
Author. And here's the thing. I don't even know. Looking at the cover and reading the title, I'm like, have I read this before?
Is it Golden Summer? Is it Summer
No,
Ever
it's
After?
not.
Meet Me at the Lake?
No, because those are the ones I know of hers,
Shoot,
and
okay.
I've read all of them.
Okay.
So I'm like, I'm pretty sure I haven't read this one, but I'm not positive. And then lately I've been so tired that I haven't been reading as much. Like, I've just been so exhausted that I've just been going to sleep. And then it brings up another funny thing that we were talking about is, Abby, you are very much, you finish your chapters, right?
Oh my goodness. I would never, unless something is on fire or like something is really, really necessary. That chapter is getting finished. I need a little bit of closure.
So you kind of look at the chapter before you start it to be like, can I take this chapter on?
Yes. And with the Kindle, It's nice because it will say 6 minutes or 3 minutes. And so I just won't even start it if I know I can't get into it.
Okay. So then there's me. I will literally stop. I will stop after a paragraph, like on a random page. Everything's the story. What am I'm not missing anything. I'm literally just like, I lights out. It's time for me to go to bed. Like, I will definitely stop when my body's telling me I'm too tired. I will stop in the page.
Oh my gosh. What if you're at like 85 or 90% of the way through the book? What will you do?
That actually is the only place where I do handle my habits differently. If I'm getting close to 85% in my Kindle. I will, because we know the book usually doesn't go to 100%
Right.
because there's usually credits and all this other stuff. So you're probably working with 95%. So if I'm that far in, I will really ask myself if I've got the steam to finish it, because I do not like to end like 3 pages before the ending. Like I would actually finish the whole thing.
You know what's interesting about me? If I really love the book, I won't finish it. I will let it go
I feel
another
like this
day.
is like associated with the way that you eat.
If I am loving
You're
a
like,
food or a book,
you know what?
I am
I'm
savoring
gonna
it.
leave this little piece
Mhm.
so that I can still think about it and salivate about it.
And enjoy it maybe in 5 minutes, maybe in a couple of hours.
Okay, so what are you reading?
Right now, I'm doing something kind of weird right now. I'm listening to a book and reading a book, which I don't normally do that, but I have 3 Audible credits, so I wanted to get going with it. So I'm listening.
I really wish I could grab my phone. I'm like, I think I have 16 Audible credits. I'm a master.
I am reading The Teacher. So Frida McFadden, she's known for the Housemaid books. And I'm about like 50% in right now. I'm not really sure where this book is going. All of her books are like that, where it's like there's like limited characters and there's always a twist right at the end of the book. So not quite sure where this one's going, but I'm enjoying it so far. And then I chose a very, very different kind of book for my listening pleasure. It's about 2 people that pretend that they're married so that the guy can make a bunch of money from an inheritance type thing. And then they go on this really long vacation together. And so it's a family vacation and it's just, the steamy scenes are really good. The adult, yeah, I'm trying to think now because I think that you've read it. I know that our friend has read it.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those good books that it's like, it's super easy to read. The characters, they're so funny. This female character is so funny. She's an artist, but she's pretending to be a doctor.
Okay, I don't know if I have, but I've read one with such a similar plot.
And I feel like I've read a lot of books where people are pretending to be married or pretending to be in relationships lately.
It actually happened.
I'm like, is this real life? Does this actually happen?
I don't know. Okay, next question. Who is more of a homebody?
Okay, so we're both homebodies. I'm going to give the edge to you, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to give the edge to you. In the past, I was not as much of a
You
homebody.
like go out a little more.
I like to go out a little bit more as long as I'm home at a decent time, but I do like to be in the community around people. I would like it a lot more if they were with me at my house because I like to be around people, but I don't like to go.
You love a dinner. You go out more, and that's great. I love a dinner.
A dinner is like your main thing to go out with.
Oh my gosh. Take me to Tempest. Take me to Red. I'm the happiest. Okay, who needs more sleep?
We do talk about sleep on this podcast.
We're both heavy on the sleep. We're both heavy-handed on the sleep. But I would say just health-wise, I would give the edge to you.
Yeah. The next day is like physically cannot do it. I cannot live life if I don't get even one good night of sleep. Yours is usually on the second night. Yeah, on the second night, that's when it's hitting you.
So way more sensitive than the average adult for both of us. I'm shocked that we've put out 300 podcasts. I don't know how it's getting done. Okay, who is more hygienic?
Overall, you. I think
but we're both high on the hygiene.
We're both high on the hygiene. We're both high on the hygiene.
There's no low hygiene here.
My mouth, there cannot be anything in my mouth. I am brushing my teeth. I'm flossing my teeth every single day. I am brushing my teeth multiple times a day. Like I hate anything feeling weird in my mouth.
I also have good mouth hygiene, but yours is like
it's a little over the top.
It's like trying to go to the dentist more than she needs to.
When you're asking, they say you can only go twice in a calendar year, ma'am. Oh shoot, come on.
But I'm really crazy about my hair. I cannot the way that you handle the way a lot of people handle that.
I wash hair 2 or 3 days a week.
It's just I personally can't. And I'm happy for people that can.
Did you try washing your hair every other day for like a second?
Yeah. And it honestly went fine. I just don't like it. It's like, for me, the closing shift of my body, I wash my face. Honestly, I'm really crazy. I wash it like 3 times.
Okay.
I just can't stop washing my face in the shower because I wash it in the shower. So it's like really easy. Yeah. But I really like to have a nice sud going all the way up to my hair, down to my chin.
And it's the same product you're using over and over and over again. Okay.
It's like really, I should probably stop. But I just want to make sure there's nothing on my face before I put my affordable night cream on.
Your little nighttime serums on.
Yeah. Okay. Who is more particular with food?
Oh, that's you. What? Oh, well, you know what though?
Yeah.
Because there's certain things. I think this is going to be one where there's certain things because you have to have your food hot.
Yes.
Like to the point where we will go to forage, we will come back and Amy will toast her bread and heat up her meat.
We're going to go see our friend and I'm going to do it because I'm comfortable enough with her.
You're going to go into her
house
and her microwave
and ask if I can
and heat up the meat.
Heat up my chicken because it's truly for me I would use the word savoring. Like, I love food a lot and I really like to enjoy it. And my enjoyment is higher if it's right under the temperature that like burns your tongue. Like, I just love hot food.
Okay.
I've always been like that.
Okay.
But Abby can't look. She doesn't like certain cuts of meat, which is totally
Meat.
fine.
Meat is a very specific thing. Yes.
But then also when we were in Puerto Rico, the food is very different. You know, that's what they call
Yeah.
culture. Colin and I had to like cut up Abby's food because she couldn't like look. I don't know what it was.
I could, yeah, I could, it was a pork chop. It was a pork chop, which was the wrong choice for me anyway.
Yeah.
But I could not see this huge hunk of meat and see how that was
Yeah,
going
the
to actually get
huge hunk-
inside of me.
the
So
huge
you
hunk.
had to be the vehicle of cutting up in tiny pieces,
I
like
was
my
like
mother.
offering to switch her meals. I'm just like, no, I'm not. But we both have a very wide
Not picky
palate.
eaters.
We're
Not picky eaters.
but we're particular about
Different kinds of
Who
things.
takes longer getting ready?
Okay, this is easy.
This one's this is me. And the thing I will say is that my hair just takes so long. It takes really long to dry. I'm considering buying the Shark blow dryer
Right, because of really good reviews from
because
our
it
community.
takes like 30 minutes for my hair to dry. My hair, everyone that cuts my hair also says that.
Okay.
Because you know, when they want it, they dry you at the end. And then she's sitting there like,
Can I let you go? Can I please?
Literally,
I have another client.
Can I let you go a little wet? Are you doing anything after this? Because it takes so long to dry. It's crazy. But then other than that, I'm a little more particular with my makeup.
Yeah, my makeup will take
My outfit
like 3 to 5 minutes.
have to feel a certain way.
I think I also will pick my outfit out ahead of time so that I literally just slip right into it. I usually am not picking out my outfit the day of.
You know what? The thing about me is I usually don't either, but I'll give myself like two to three options because
Okay.
I really need to feel what I'm wearing.
Because even if beforehand you're
Yes,
like, this is
try
going to
it
be the
on.
outfit for tonight, it might not be.
Yeah.
Okay. When we went on our overnight trip to just downtown, we had a little like overnight downtown. Amy brought 7 outfits. You brought an entire suitcase
Well, I think
full.
it was just like I didn't pack well because that time I didn't know what
You
dress
knew
I
what you were going to do.
but like
Okay.
my clothes for the next day and stuff were.
But it is
That's
nice because when we
crazy.
get ready together, Amy hops in the shower. I can get a good 30 minutes of reading in. She comes out, is drying her hair.
My 2 best friends let me shower
And then I
first,
take it.
and that's why they are my best friends.
Only reason it has to be on the list.
Okay. Wait, who is more confrontational? I would give the edge to myself, but I think that you'll give it to people sometime.
Yes. I'm not as confrontational about as many things, but the things that I'll lay down on, I will not give up. And I will make sure that it's known in usually a kind yet direct way.
I think I'm very direct, and people just aren't used to women necessarily being that way. For example, you know, if someone says something passive aggressive in front of me to me, I'll just be like, what did you mean by that? Because to me, if you're an adult, say it with your chest. If you have something to say to me, let's talk about it. I'm not going to be the girl that takes these backhanded little comments. Like, I'm just not. Because then what type of friendship do we have if you can't say it? Just say it.
So if you're talking with Amy, just say it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the biggest thing. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't add a little winky face.
Here's the thing
mean it.
For example, for Drew and I, like, we have such honest communication and we're both just built that way. We cut to the chase. It makes things super easy, honestly. If you're just honest and upfront, what do you have to hide? Okay, who is more dramatic?
I'm going to say it's me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's
Absolutely.
me. I'm more dramatic and about a lot of things. Where I'm confrontational about a few things, I'm dramatic about a lot of things.
Yeah. I like I'll be dramatic as a joke. Like, you know, I think that type of humor is funny. But yeah, you like pass out.
It actually changes my body chemistry. You can tell me something and instantly my body actually has a physical reaction to it. It believes it down to its literal bones and blood. So the drama is there.
Okay, what surprises me the most about Abby? I would say the fact that she doesn't know how to get anywhere except for to her house. Yeah. Like, and maybe to her kids' school. It's truly mind blowing. I don't know if you've ever been around someone like this, because most people, I feel like they can, like, Drew can do anything. He can take cardinal directions. He can take, he's good that way. Abby can't get anywhere unless she has her GPS. And it's so bad that, because I'm like, Abby, I've heard it's really good for your brain, especially as we age, for it to be able to like put a map together. So I'll be with her. I'll be in the passenger seat. I'm like, just try to get to Target.
A place we've been
a million
a
times.
million different times.
The thing is, I always drive, so I thought that that was the issue, but it's just
No,
because then she'll offer to drive every once in a while. She
with the
truly
GPS
can't
on.
get
Mhm.
anywhere to the part
Mhm.
where I'll in my head, I'm like, "I really think you're just not trying." But then she has taught me that
I am
it's like a
trying.
defect.
It's like an actual defect. And since I was very little, I was the person that ran a 30-mile marathon because I got lost on a marathon course. Like legitimately cannot figure out my way with
So do you
directions.
just feel like you don't pay attention enough? Do you
I,
feel like
I
your
wonder
head is too
I
noisy?
wonder if I'm like thinking about too many things so I don't pick up on the little signals of like, oh, just turn left here next to this house. And then every single time turn left here. I mean, you even in the last month you said everything is on this road off this highway. You go to Target here, we go to,
Yeah.
you go to Forage
Off of that
here,
line if
we
we're
go to
meant
yeah,
to.
we go to the mall here. Like all these different pieces are here. And that was kind of a little light bulb moment at the age of 39 of
Yeah.
thinking, wait, it's just one way to get there,
I
but then
say
different exits.
when you and your friend are complete opposite in an area. This
Yes.
is our probably, I would say,
Probably one of
probably
our
our
biggest.
most
Yes.
opposite areas. I am freaking like the person that could find. I told Kathy, I'm like, I could drive to Green Bay. I could drive to
Yeah.
Milwaukee. I could drive to Janesville. I could drive to Chicago. I could drive anywhere. I mean, obviously there's signs, but then I just also know which way they are.
Meanwhile, going out of a parking lot, I have to figure out if I'm turning left or right.
It's wild. Okay, what surprises you the most about me?
So Amy has
Can't
been
wait to
part,
hear.
you have been part of life and death in so many different ways. Like you have literally seen people take their last breath, which I don't think a lot of people know.
Like 20 people,
20 different
and I
people take
can
their last breath
picture them.
as
It's
an oncology
crazy.
nurse and just with your background there. But then you've also delivered babies and helped so many women with expecting empowered on that end of it too. So like literally both sides of life and death, which I think is pretty cool because I don't think a lot of people know that about you, but also a lot of people don't ever have that experience. A lot of people will see their closest
You wanna
people
know what's
pass
really
it.
crazy is that life and death, being born and dying are actually similar in some ways.
Mm,
And like the care for the people that are going through it are similar in some ways. I would say seeing it made me less afraid of both.
interesting. Okay.
Like you see it. I mean, I've seen some deaths that did not go. Some deaths are very peaceful and the person is truly just letting go and it's calm. Some deaths are like that person is really fighting it. So yeah, it was just like an interesting, it didn't scare me.
Okay.
It made me less scared, I would say. Whereas a lot of people are like, how do you do that? How could you do
Right.
that? The thing is, everyone does die. And I think that's been a really good lesson to live.
Oh my goodness. Got a little bit deep there. Got a little bit deep there.
Okay, what do you think is the biggest compromise in your marriage?
Mine would have to be around freedom. And I think it's with a lot of different things. I used to have the traveling sales job, and I felt like there was actually quite a bit of freedom in that because I was gone away from the house. I could dictate the schedule. I'd obviously always confirm it with Colin, but when we switched roles, things got changed a ton where I feel a lot of times really chained to the house, chained to the responsibilities. I mean, even we were talking just this last weekend about the appointment schedule for the next couple of weeks until school starts. And he goes, oh, I could help out with a few of them. There were 17 different appointments or the nanny is being early or an
Yeah.
off day of school, 17 different things. So when someone says they can take a couple, it still feels like there's just not a lot of flexibility and freedom in it. And as somebody who that is one of my number one values. I mean, even in my 20s, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to be a mom at that point. But I met Colin, fell in love with Colin. He wanted to be a dad and hormones, whatever it is, being around people that were having kids. That's when I knew I did want to be a mom. But such a drastic change in 10 years of feeling like I had all the freedom in the world to all of a sudden feeling because of my husband's job and his schedule and our life that there's a lot less right now.
Well, I think it's just the fact of the matter for you guys. It's just true. That's how your lives are set up right now. And then I think with your personality, which is very organized, you know that there's 17 appointments. And so
Right.
even though you're not trying to score keep in a way it is,
It's just in my mind
versus
automatically.
me, I have no idea what's going
Next
on.
week I have two. That's all I'm thinking
I've
about.
taken a bunch of appointments. Like I have no idea what's happening. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like I'm just
Mhm.
living day to day. So then I'm not like seeing it as closely. And sometimes even I notice it, as a woman that has a more flexible job. and is always in town, you see
Right.
like, oh my
Right.
gosh, like I'm getting crushed this week.
And it can feel so heavy when you're in it. And then you look back and you're like, wow, I did do a lot. I did do a lot. And then sometimes, again, with that scorekeeping, that's my default
Yeah.
in bad
A default scorekeeper.
deeper. I'm a recovering scorekeeper in my heart. Trying very, very hard. Used to be a lot worse, have made progress,
Here's
but
the
that's what I
thing.
fall back on.
Is it still happening in your head? And then you're saying, you
And that's
shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. Like, is it a
that's a good
default?
question. That's a good question
Yeah.
because it probably is it is a natural part of my body.
Right.
And my body automatically does think of all those things just because I am type A and
You're
organized.
calculated. Like,
Yeah.
that's just who you are.
So
It's
that's
not a
so
bad thing. But then sometimes when someone's like, don't do that, you're like, my brain literally does
Yeah.
it. Your brain categorizes.
It categorizes.
Mine doesn't. So
Different brains,
yeah,
brains.
telling me not to. I'm like,
What about for you guys? Biggest compromise in marriage?
well, here's one that's been coming up a lot lately is so I grew up with dogs my entire life. We always had two. If one passed away, they got another one. Like I always had dogs. I love dogs. I'm very specific about the type of dogs that I like. Our kids really want dogs, and they've been. And for a long time, I was like, there's no chance because I couldn't even think of having another thing. I still lean more towards that way. Like, I think it would be just too much for our family. But the fact that Drew is like, absolutely not, never. I just don't do good with people that tell me things like that.
I get that. I get that. Yeah.
It's not, why is it all your decision? But it's kind of like when we talk about having a third kid, when we've talked about that, you can't have half of a dog, really.
Right.
So, but I just don't like when people put their heels in so hard and it gives me no decision. So that's been something where I do think that's a huge compromise of like, I do know it would trigger Drew really bad. And so, like, I'm protecting myself from his stress.
I get that.
He's
I get
not,
that.
sometimes with his stress, he doesn't manage it that well. So I'm like, I don't want to stress him out, but is it really fair that you get to make this decision? I'm not the type of woman because I know other people have done this and I'm not judging anyone, but I would not just like bring a dog home because I just don't, our marriage just doesn't work like that. Like that would be so disrespectful. This one's interesting. Who doesn't let things go?
I am your classic ruminator. It is going to
Yeah.
be in my mind.
Yeah.
It's going to be in my mind. I do forgive, and I actually do forgive. The completely forgetting, though, I think it stays in there a little tiny bit. Business as normal, everything goes well. But in my mind, and I think the reason it comes up is that if something similar comes up again,
Yeah.
which if it's bad enough for that to come up again, it'll be like, wait a minute here. This did happen in the past. And now I'm thinking about it again. This isn't the first time. I thought we got over this. So that's the part that I don't let go. But otherwise, I forgive very, very fast. And I'm very, very trusting of people too, to a fault, I would say, to a fault. Reflecting.
I'm not trusting. No, I'm not trusting. But for me, I feel like if someone really shows their true character a couple times, I'm going to believe it and then I don't trust them. And that's just been the way that I've been. Like with my life experiences, if you show me a couple times who you are, I'm going to believe you and I'm dipping out. I'm good. I've seen it. I've seen the show. I've seen all I need to see. And I'm going to, I think, A, self protect, B, what I come back to is I just have so much good going on in my life.
Right.
Why would I tolerate something that's not?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
two different ways of looking at it.
but the thing is, like, I don't care. I'm not like, oh my God, I'm not ruminating about it. Then I'm just like, I'm just good. I'm good.
That'd be
I
so
have been to
freeing.
therapy.
That'd be so freeing for a brain to just not think about it again. Therapy does help. Therapy does help so much.
Yes.
Talking to somebody else, saying it out loud, having somebody walk you through it 100%.
Okay, what do you admire about the way the other person parents?
I have been around Amy and her kids so much. And what I really like about watching you guys is that you teach lessons every single day, but you teach them in a way that the kids can remember them again. And it's really cool to see because we have been through situations where they're tricky, they're challenging, there's fighting, there's big uproars, there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of fighting. And then the next time, I'm not saying it's perfect, not that it's never going to happen again, but you can tell that your kids remember what you have said. Our kids remember the things that you have said. And we have adopted so many things, Amy, from what you have said, one-liners, things you've brought up that have made our parenting better
so
and also
I don't
easier.
even remember the one that you've been telling me about lately.
Yes,
I don't even
ask before you
remember
laugh. Ask before you laugh. I bet we
Ask
use that
before you laugh.
2 times a week. I bet we use it with adults, with kids. And I know it's a very easy thing when you see somebody trip and fall to all of a sudden just start to giggle at it because it can look comical. But we always say, ask before you laugh because sometimes it can really hurt. And our kids know that now and they've adopted that. And I like when they will say it out loud then because I say, okay, you learned that from me, who learned it from Amy, who learned it from a really big group experience. So I love those ones.
So I don't even remember that. Okay. So the thing I would say is I feel like Abby really, really is intentional about what each child needs. No, I mean it because I feel like it's a tough situation to have a kid with special needs and like he has to get so much attention. But I can see you really trying. Okay, the reason I'm crying is because I feel like you're so hard on yourself about this subject. But from my view, I feel like you do it so well.
Well, and that's why when the person asked the question about the developmental delays, I just wanted to reach out and hug them because I do feel it. I do feel the pressure and the heaviness and the try one more thing. One more thing will make it better. And I do feel that. I do feel that. And then,
well, you have two kids that kind of need a lot of attention. So
right.
it's like, where does it all come from? But I think you guys are doing it really well.
Oh, thanks, Ames. I like that one.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, it is like when your friends are so hard on themselves for something and you just want them to be like, no, like see it the way that I see it.
Yeah. And when you are looking at somebody else and you're seeing how wonderful they are and how beautiful they are and how they make such a good impact on the world, it's so hard when they say hard things about themselves too. I mean, I see that so often. So thank you for that one.
Okay. Ooh, okay. What are financial challenges with your partner? I would say the most interesting thing for me is that Drew is just really, really, he wants to have our finances be so transparent. And I have learned so much for him, and I am sitting in a better position than I ever would have been without him. Not just because we have two incomes, but because he really understands how to manage money, how to make good decisions, how to wait, like save and wait for things. He's just brought so much goodness into my life that I would never complain about the way that we run our finances because I just know how it was going when I was on my own. So, like, I have been coached by this man. I have been scared of this man. I have just been like to a point where now none of it bothers me because it's just our normal. All of that to say, he does check in. Like the other day, I spent $100 and I thought our rule was if anything was over 200, like the person could ask. And then I'm getting like, I'll get asked about $100 purchase here. What did you buy on Amazon? Like whatever it is. And I was with a bunch of girlfriends at dinner one night. They're like, how do you not get defensive? I'm like, because I'm not doing anything wrong. Like the purchases I make, I'm thoughtful of. I know what I bought. I don't just close my eyes and swipe my credit card ever. So I can tell them like, sometimes the family expenses, if you're buying a bunch of soap and you're buying a bunch of sunscreen and you're buying whatever, it can add up quickly, but I can easily tell you what all of that was. So I would say it's not challenging, but it's just different to have a spouse that asks you about purchases a lot and then not getting defensive about it. And then he also runs everything. So I have all the passwords. I think that's so important. I know what's going on. We meet about it, but he's the one that actually does the tactical bill pay. He like reviews all the bills. He does all of that. So I just get a lot of questions. My role is to answer.
Around the first of the month too, especially. Yep. I see those questions coming in. And you do a good job with them.
Yeah.
And it is funny because everyone does that so differently. In my mind, I'm thinking, can't you just do the automatic bill pay and just have it be going without?
So Drew doesn't like automatic bill pay. He wants to review every bill. And then also it's really interesting because some of my friends are like, I wish my husband cared about our finances. Like they wish that their partner was more cautious. So it's like when you have it one way, sometimes you're like, the grass isn't greener. What do you want? Like, we're worried about our bills.
Well, and I think there's just with finances, it's not something that people talk about, I think, just openly in conversation. So that's why we always like to bring it to the podcast because I think people are really interested. For us, I would say our biggest disagreement is on how much to save for retirement versus the dollars being spent today. We both grew up in households where scarcity mindset was a real thing and saving for retirement was everything. But our dollar dollar amounts and thresholds for what is appropriate in retirement are just very, very different. It's so hard when you're putting money towards retirement, which I know is very, very important, obviously. But then when there's the daily expenses that would make our lives a lot easier and would make us happier, would, brighten up our lives, those are the expenses that I'm like, can't we just spend a little bit more right now and enjoy it? Like we talked about with death, we all are going to die. And if I died in a couple of years and didn't have a couple of these things, I think I would be on my deathbed and be like, you know what? You shouldn't have saved so much for when we're 60 plus. He also has a really, really hard job, and I really love my job. So I think that he thinks about retirement in a different way, where he's thinking, I can't do this until I am 70, where, we'll be slinging hormone replacement therapy when we're older. So I think that is also a big part of it.
Okay. Who has crazier spending habits?
Neither of us are crazy.
No.
I would say neither of us are crazy. I think we have different spending habits. We value different things.
I do small things very regularly, which here's a plug too. Some financial people would really shame you. Like I love my nails and I love my coffee, and those are huge, like happy parts of my life, but then as I've always said, I don't have a single design or anything, and I don't need it because I just don't value that. And I'm not judging anyone that does. That's just me. That's who I am. I don't value any expensive purse. I'm not going to use it. It's too nice for me.
Well, one thing.
You've seen my purse tours. Like I don't need a freaking purse.
They're $20 on Amazon and they do a really good job.
So for me, the everyday, like small indulgences, like a coffee makes me really happy. But then I always have this internal clock. You hear me talk about it all the time. I have my own private credit card that Drew doesn't see, but he sees the balance every month. We pay them off in full every month. So I've got to keep it between the lines. Otherwise, I'm going to get way more questions than I want to get. And so I have a really easy time doing that. If I make a couple clothing purchases that are, more than normal, then I'm like, okay, I have to hunker down in another area because I don't want the question.
I think that that's a really good way, and also a lot of progress, right? From 20s and teens to now, so much progress.
It's so crazy. Like my credit card, given inflation, hasn't really gone up that much, even though I make a lot more money than I used to when I was a personal trainer, a CNA, or a nurse. So my dad always said, just because you make more doesn't mean you have to spend more. Of course, in some areas of our life, we are, but in other areas, it's like you don't really need to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we are opposite with our spending habits.
Yeah.
I do not do the daily purchases. And
so
actually,
much so that she's like depraves herself, I would.
Well, and that's one thing that Colin and I do have arguments about too. If we're on our way home and we have 10 minutes to get home, he wants to stop and get food. And I'm thinking we have food at home. I just want to get home. But what I do spend money on in the past, it was courses and learning. And I would spend a lot of money on that type of stuff. Now it's on anything that'll make me feel better. Health type stuff. So if it's supplements, if it's a random shaking machine, if it's a new doctor, I am in such a point of my life.
The biggest healthcare.
My healthcare, and of course, it's not covered by insurance. I wish it was covered by insurance, but it's not. So that's where I'm spending the bulk of my money. But those are big dollar amounts that I internally am saving up for in my mind without spending the little things.
We were out to dinner with a group of friends, similar ages, probably similar incomes, and we were talking about our credit card bills. And let's just say Abby and I were truly like a fourth of the next closest person. So I think we're doing great.
Honestly. And we're spending money on things that we value, which I think for anybody, that's what's important. You just can't value too many things.
Yeah. Yeah. You just have to be a little bit disciplined. It is a practice. It is a practice. And so I just want to say to anyone who's listening and they are like, oh my gosh, like hiding some credit card debt or they're in a sticky situation. I have been there. And so to say that you can get out and you can get to a place where you're much more comfortable. I mean, I don't want to be your 38-year-old friend, but money stress is so stressful. I'm telling you, like my heart would start beating fast. My palms would get sweaty. It was truly physically stressful. And obviously there's people in situations where they couldn't really help it. Medical bills. We know this country, there's really tough things. So obviously not shaming on that, but if you're doing some things where you could do better. We've been there. I still go there sometimes where I'm like, okay, I gotta rein it in. I gotta rein it in because I do think about our future, and like I don't want the future to be stressful if it doesn't have to be. So Think about it. Okay,
Yeah.
this was a really fun episode for us to do. Like I said, it came from you guys. Like you guys asked us the questions and we just took notes. So if you like this episode, we can absolutely do more like it.